there's the bed sitting on the truck finally. I had some old Peterbilt tail lights that I bolted up. One of the nice things about most American modern truck chassis, the whole back half of the frame here is just Swiss cheese of bolt holes from the factory. These chassis are mass produced and they never really know, what the application's gonna be. So there's bolt here, here, and there's another one right about here that are the factory bumper bolts for a pickup. There's 2 bolt holes right here for this exact bracket if it was to be a factory flatbed or if it was a factory cab and chassis. And then there's holes up here where spring mounts can be moved back and forth. So didn't even have to drill the holes to mount up the tail lights. They do sit pretty low, but they're still above the hitch and they're above the exhaust, so not too bad. That's the plastic liner that screws onto the back of the bed. I mounted my trailer wiring in it when it was on the truck with the sheet metal bed, so I'm gonna have to pull that out. I'm gonna put it in the stock location right there on the hitch, because on my particular truck, this is a factory lighting option and this has been all chopped up. So we'll pull this one out, put mine in. I do have a license plate bracket right here, but it puts the license plate super low to the ground. So I think that's probably gonna get moved maybe somewhere up in here to put the license plate. What else? I use a power distribution box on all of my trucks. You see that's where I have my trailer wiring wired into. It's also where I pull the factory harness for the tail lights, the back half of the truck. They go into the box and they're all on ring terminals. That way, if I ever need to do anything with lighting, like what I'm gonna do right here, I'm gonna take this factory pigtail and lop it off. And I'm gonna use the pigtail that came on the harness with these lights. I actually have it sitting right over here. So yeah, this is the harness that comes from Peterbilt with those lights. I'm just gonna cut these 2 pigtails off. I can wire them straight onto there and everything is already hooked to the truck and I'll have fully functioning lights. Dropped out the spare tire hanger because it's not gonna get used. That made everything else fit. I normally have my power distribution box mounted on the inside of the hitch right there to keep it safe. Didn't take that into account. It does not clear my rear condensate tank, so it's unbolted right now. That'll get probably located up onto the inside of the frame right in here probably. I'm trying to find somewhere I can put it where it's still going to be easily accessible, because then, like, let's say I wanted to haul a camper on one of my trucks, all I do is pull 2 screws off and I have access to a bus bar with all of my connections. I could hook up another pigtail and run up to the front, hook it up to a camper. Or when I go to put a 5th wheel or a gooseneck in this truck, throw a pigtail in there, run it up here to a connection, and then I can have that trailer hook up. This truck used to have either a 5th wheel or goose, I'm not sure which. I'm thinking it was a 5th wheel because there was no hole in the bed. So all these brackets are welded onto the frame. I'm gonna have to lop all of those off, clean up the sides of the frame rail. The other day when I still had the box on it, I just crawled underneath, sawzalled off these 2 box mounts and then just dressed the edges of them up. They need to get slapped with a little bit of paint. I did end up scooting the bed back just a smidge from where the green truck was. The main reason I did that was because I used a factory hole on the green truck's frame for that stud that located the gasifier mount. This truck did not have that hole. It also didn't have the 2 holes up front that my other truck did. This whole top of this frame, I'll walk over the other side and show you. It's completely solid. There's no bolt holes in this section, but for whatever reason there were on the green truck, and I utilized a stock hole for that mount. But because it wasn't there, I was able to just nudge the bed back just a hair. Got all my holes in. Everything's bolted down right now except for this mount, because can't access it from the bottom because of the fuel tank, can't access it from the top because of the fuel tank. So I'll drop the front mount off, slide the tank over, run that nut down, and then all the bed mounts are done. because I moved the bed back just a hair, and because this hitch isn't bent, that port no longer lines up, so that's going to get capped, and I'll have to move a drain further over. So glad I didn't put any work into that just yet, because I was going to build the tube to drain that out of. That about wraps up the legality side of things. I need to clean up some wiring for my license plate light, which goes down to the box, which I need to reroute wires and figure out where it's going to sit up in here. But that's tail lights, turn signals, brake lights, license plate light. I'm sure this is totally temporarily permanent. You know, just a couple screws into one of the boards. It works. And relocated my trailer wiring down here. All good to go. So it can be driven, but I want to get that box figured out before I start driving it. And then hopefully tomorrow after work I can get some time and finish up this insulation. So here's the bottom barrel. We got minimum 2 layers all the way around of this corrugated galvanized roofing, cut out for the crossover, cut out for the ash dump. I took a 55-gallon drum lid and cut it to fit in the bottom, so it was super tight, so when I squished it down in there it pushed all the sheet metal out. And it's also got this nice rolled lip that falls right down into the ammo dump. So as I reach in there to sweep out coal or charcoal, it should just flow right out of there. Now I'm going to take a 55-gallon drum and shove down inside of here that's split in half, shove it in and push it into the sides and then weld it back together. Go over the top here. I think I'm going to bend a lip underneath, because this area right here only has 1 layer of insulation, you know, just sitting here. And I want to protect that from getting too hot. So I want another layer right there. And I think if I bend a lip underneath, that'll give a chance for soot to pile up in here and insulate that pretty good. But I got that to do. Then the bottom barrel's ready to go in. I do have the other cooling tubes over there all painted up. They're ready to go. Got the end caps painted and put on. Now I gotta run over to my dad's and scrounge up some more boards. You know, good old nail holes and everything. Reclaimed. You didn't think after all that time building the whole truck out of scrap metal I was gonna go buy brand new boards, did you? We're getting there. Hopefully next time you guys see this, there's a big old fancy black thing right there that, you know, provide some go juice to the engine.